Welcome to the class, my dear students. Yes, I'm very excited to explain this vector calculus is a very interesting topic. It's of course the scoring for the students at the same time. To understand the real time scenario, vectors are the first important concepts and the quantity which we use regularly and which we look at that particular type of the vectors in the daily everyday scenarios. So let us now see, there is a junction where one vehicle is going towards a particular direction. If I say direction, whenever we call about the direction, then we say that that is having a particular in a particular direction with a so and so distance from a particular place we define. That means, let me say that I'm starting at the origin and I'm going towards the x-axis 2 units, and again after going 2 units towards the x-axis I'm taking the left turn and going towards the y-axis about 3 units. If I want to express, then I say that I'm going towards the x-axis 2 units like this in this direction. Again I'm going to upwards towards the y-axis, I'm going 3 units towards the y-axis. So this is the point where we replace by 2 comma 3. That means 2 units towards the x-axis and 3 units towards the y-axis. So this is what known as the direction, where we can represent this as 2 times of I plus 3 times of j. That means I is noting, this is the notation for telling that for towards the x-axis you are giving the direction, you are naming the direction as I, and towards the y-axis what you are naming the direction as j. So now if I say that I'm going towards x-axis 2 units and I'm going down to 3 units, let us say, going down towards 3 units, that means down in the sense that this is the direction where I'm going down towards this point is what, x is 2 and y is minus 3. So this direction tells you that going down the lane 2 comma minus 3 is the direction, and that means what it is 2 times of x direction is I, and you are going down, therefore negative 3 times of j. That shows that towards y-axis going down means the negative sign gives you the expression. So what is meant by the quantity this 2i minus 3j means this shows about the direction. What is the direction? 2 units towards the x-axis from the origin, going towards x-axis 2 units, going towards the y-axis minus 3 units. That means you are going in the reverse direction towards the y-axis. So this is what the fundamental idea of the vector quantity. What do you mean by the vector? Means you are including the direction with the particular scalar quantity. So this shows that it is a vector. Now the point is, from how much distance from the origin to the point you have reached the point 2 comma 3. Now you are how far you are from the point, from the 0, from the origin to the point 2 comma 3. How to find out this distance is the next question. So if you observe here, it is just like a right angle triangle, just a right angle triangle, right? Now what is this? What is this length? Is 3 units, and what is this length? Is 2 units. Therefore, according to the Pythagoras theorem, what is this length? Is given by 2 square plus 3 square under root. This is what the distance from the origin to the point 2 comma 3. So from this idea, the people, the scientists have got the idea that yes, I have a vector 2i plus 3j, that means towards x-axis 2 units and towards y-axis 3 units. If I go, then I can get the distance from the origin to the point 2 comma 3 as just the square root of the x coordinate square plus the y coordinate square that is called as the length or the distance from the origin to the point. So what you can say about the distance from the origin, how to understand this? Now let us go to the length of the or length of the vector now. So the vector means what? The vector means it's a quantity. It's a quantity which has both length and direction. Both length and direction. So we can think about the length of this vector. Also we can find out the direction, as towards x-axis how many units, towards y-axis how many units, all these we can identify. So this is what the vector means. Now to express the length of the vector, what is the length of the vector? So now instead of writing the numbers, in generally what we write is the quantity which has both length and vector. The vector x comma y, the vector x comma y is of length square root of x square plus y square. Since it is the length, we can write it as units. I hope you could able to understand. So this is what about the length of the line segment. Now I name the length. The initial point is A and the terminal point as B, let us say. The name of the line segment is AB. So then we write that it as AB as the line segment, or the vector is notation. Vector notation of a line segment generally is given by AB bar. Means it shows that A is the initial point and B is the terminal point. A is the initial point and B is the terminal point of the vector. I hope it is clear. So this is what the vector notation we write it as, and write A is, suppose let us consider this as x1 comma y1 as its coordinates and B as x2 comma y2 as its coordinates. Then the component form we call it as, this is what the component form we are going to discuss about the next topic. So the point A is the initial point, B is the terminal point x2 comma y2. So now we are going to write down the initial point and the terminal point, as I said. So what is the length of the vector? Length of the vector or the line segment with the direction is called as the length of the vector AB, where A is equal to x1 comma y1 and B is equal to x2 comma y2, suppose. Then the length of the vector is given by square root of x2 minus x1 the whole square plus y2 minus y1 the whole square. This is what the length of the vector, and we denote this length as mod of the vector AB is called as the length. Length is also called as length, or we can also call it as magnitude. Magnitude of the vector AB. Magnitude of the vector AB, where A is given by, suppose A is the origin 0 comma 0 and B is the point 2 comma 3, which I have given in the example. So now what is the length of this vector is given by? AB is given by square root of 2 minus 0 the whole square 2 square plus 3 minus 0 the whole square 3 square. So it is 4 plus 9 under root. So that is equal to square root of 13 units. So this is what the distance. So you have to keep the units. Understood? So this is what the length of the vector, and the vector representation you know how to do it, and what is the magnitude or length of the vector. So what is the component form? What do you mean by the component means? What is x component, y component, and z? Suppose if the vector is in the three-dimensional space, let us say. Then let us say v is equal to v1, v2, v3 is given, suppose. Then we say that it is the component form of the vector v. Okay. Now, for as I told you that p is x1, y1, z1, and q is x2, y2, and z2 is given, suppose. Then the component form of pq is given by the component form is given by x2 minus x1, comma y2 minus y1, comma z2 minus z1. This is what the component form. So let us now see an example. Find the component form. Find the component form of the vector. Find the component form of the vector. What is the vector now? Let us say p is equal to, let us have 1, minus 2, 3. And q is equal to 0, 1, minus 2, something. Now what is the component form of the vector? Vector pq, where pq is, p is this, q is this. Also find its magnitude. Also find its magnitude. So this is what you are going to find out. What is the component form of the vector pq is given by x2 is 0 minus x1, comma x2 1 minus of minus 2, x3 minus y3. So it is minus 2 minus 3. So that is minus 1. 1 plus 2 is 3. Minus 2 minus 3. Minus 2 minus 3 is minus 5. So this is what the component form. And now what is PQ? Mod PQ, that is the magnitude is what? Square root of. Now it is in the three dimension, remember. 3 square plus minus 5 the whole square is 25. So it is 25 plus 10 square root of 35 units is your magnitude. 35 units is your magnitudes. I hope you could understand it properly. What is meant by the component form and what is the magnitude of the vector. So with magnitude or the length of the vector. So these are the important basics to understand how to find out the component and the what is the magnitude or length of the vector. I hope you could understand the lecture. Thank you, dear students.